Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Dragon Universe, and this is the Blue Dragon Actual YouTube channel. So today's topic is the dumb actual freshers. Now, I am not saying this, but there is a study which says that Gen Z is the first official generation who are less intelligent than their parents or parental generation, maybe millennials. Right? Now, when we posted about this in our LinkedIn page, someone kind of took it personally and wrote something negative on our page. The person who wrote that, I had very good regard for that person. So my team, when they showed that comment to me, telling me, you always have said highly about this person, and this person is reacting negatively. So I understood that only someone who is actually dumb would get affected by calling such will take something as an insult or as personally as that person has taken. Because in my corporate life, in my corporate growth, there are many times I've been given negative feedbacks. People have told ugly things to me, bitter things to me, like you do not know this, you cannot survive in the actual world, your knowledge is nowhere, you cannot, you're just a idiotic person, etc., etc. I remember my days with Canada HSBC; those are very tough days. Every time I was insulted, but I took that as a what can I say, as a chance to improve, as an opportunity to improve. And that is where I have reached the level where I've done, because they are not wrong in saying whatever they have told about me. If someone felt that I lack conceptual clarity, then I did lack conceptual clarity, and I had to get through that. So whenever I'm using this word, it might trigger someone, right? And if you are if it triggers you, then this video is actually serving its purpose, because then you are actually dumb and you need to become intelligent, right? So here, this in this video we are going to go through four or five simple reason why today's generation of actuaries is quite dumb as compared to the previous generation, which is also a maybe a scientifically proven fact. But what can you do actually to change that, right? And when I'm calling people dumb, it does not mean that I'm trying to insult you. I'm trying to trigger that change in the society, so that now you have a different thought process, you have a different perspective, and so that you can work on yourself and be the reverse of this, right? So without wasting any further time, let us move into the topics. So first reason that I feel that most people today's actual people who are freshly qualifying, or people who have started actually and have cleared 5 6 papers, are so dumb, is because they do not study on their own. In fact, we receive many queries like, are you going to help us solve papers, are you going to help us conduct mock exam, right? So and those are meaningless things. Our job is to clear the concept to you. Our job is to, when you have any doubt, to give a very, very conclusive and clear answer, to work on your conceptual clarity along with you. But it is your responsibility to work on the exam questions. It is your responsibility to appear for the paper. It is your responsibility to understand what questions are important and what is not, right? And also it is your responsibility to go for conceptual clarity, because anyone can pass exam these days with so much of information. And exam be getting easier, the marking getting much more easier. It is much easier to pass exam as compared to our time. But what this generation has done is they have kind of consume patterns, like this is the problem in this chapter, only this paragraph is important, rest are not important. And this is also propagated by many actual coaching center, especially those which are located in Kolkata side, because I keep on hearing their name, that this is how they propagate actual studies. And the reason they do that is because they never themselves has worked in actual field. You can easily verify that, right? Or they have worked there for very limited amount of time, maybe for 2 years 3 years, after which they have left the job. And if they had not left the job, they would be kicked out. So that is the unfortunate truth. You are learning from someone who has not even seen the rigor of the actual world, and you are believing that person. And that is where you are only focused on pattern cramming. You do not understand the real concept, and that is why you show a very glamorized picture of yourself studying. You share that on LinkedIn, but you never get into that zone of understanding actual concepts, so that you can apply that concept in real life when the actual problem of real life appears in front of you, and there you lack the what brings me to the second rule as well, is the or second reason as well, that is the lack of judgment. So when in real life scenario you have to choose, you have to make decisions, you'll be paid. Like any reason any company pay you, or the only reason any company pay you is because of your decision making. You have to make a judgment on whether you want to go north or south, whether you want to go east or west, or whether it should be north east, or whether it should be southwest, right? You have to take that judgment. And these days, people say, do not judge me. You are judged every second of your life. The marks that you are getting is someone assessment or someone judgment on your preparation of a particular topic. Your interview is someone assessing you or judging you whether you are fit for the role, right? Even your parents are judging you based on your marks, or how you wake up, how your daily habits are. So you are judged every second of your life, and people say, "Do not judge me." Such an immature thing to say. So the second reason is your lack of judgment. When you are presented with alternatives, right? It is your responsibility to understand what alternative to choose. Like the lady that you see here, two people giving me probably different scenario, and that lady is confused whom to follow, whom not to follow, because that is how she has spent her life. She has never taken a decision. Her parents have not allowed her to take decisions, and that is the unfortunate truth, right? Third reason is most people start actually, although they say differently, but they start actually because of the 1 crore package. Once again, this has been popularized by the coaching centers in Kolkata. Mostly there that actuaries get 1 crore package. And well, while it is true that some actuaries do get 1 crore package, most do not. And with the advent of AI, there are other things that are in process. 1 crore should be a distant reality. People will still grow in actuary. People will still work well. They would still reach seniority, but 1 crore will be very tough to get, because that is how it is getting difficult, right? So you think that actuary is your shortcut to be rich, like you study and you clear a couple of papers and you are going to be sitting with 1 crore check, right? The companies will be fighting to hire you. That is not going to happen, especially with the, as I mentioned, the level of conceptual clarity has gone down. We are talking about dumb actuary instead of talking about intelligent actuary, and that is where you can understand that it is not about money. It never was, it never will be. You can only earn good in a field if you are very very good in that field, if you solve problems which other cannot, right? If you are better than your peers, if you are not following the herd, if you are leading the herd. And that is where you have to understand that you have to be passionate about something, right? Then only you will get the money. If you are not passionate about something, right, then you can juggle everything, then you can show off money, then you can show off your marks in LinkedIn, but that will eventually not help you, right? The reason number four is what I've seen a tendency in actual student is they're always right. A couple of days back, I was talking to someone, and that person has a different opinion on how the interview should be conducted, right? And I had a different opinion. So of course, his opinion can be different from mine, and I cannot be correct all the time. And that is what I'm saying here, right? I'm not always right. That is that if I'm not always right, then I give myself the opportunity to be wrong. If I am wrong, then that gives me the opportunity to improve. But if you're always right, then you do not have any opportunity, or you're not giving yourself any opportunity to improve. So you are never always right. Nobody is always right. Even God is wrong many times. So that is where I'm telling you that this behavior, this attitude that I am always right, is very wrong, and that is impacting you. That is not helping you to understand what you need to do to improve yourself, right? So whenever someone tells something to you, it is important to you to think about that person or that feedback might be wrong, right? That feedback might be completely wrong. Like for example, many people tell me that you are brutally honest, you should not be this much honest, and I don't we don't like that, we don't appreciate that. But I feel that that is not a relevant feedback, right? But it is very important for me to listen to those feedback, because who knows, there might be some important piece of information if I completely nullify that. So it is very important to listen to feedback. You might reject it using a calm mind at a different point of time, but it's very important to understand that you can be wrong, right? And it is always very important to give yourself the opportunity to be wrong. Do not be like this person who is not willing to listen, right? Even in relationship, most relationship fail because someone else is not willing to listen. And everyone has different perspective, different viewpoint. But if you're not willing to listen, then you will not get to a middle point where you can make things work. And eventually, after a level, it is all about making things work. What other people cannot make work, you have to make it work. And that is where, as I mentioned, you will lead the herd instead of following the herd, right? So that is very, very important. The fifth and the final reason is one-dimensional life. As an actual student, you probably have only gone to school and colleges, and from school and colleges, you have gone to tuition teachers. You have never, enjoyed something. And by when I say that you have never enjoyed something, it does not mean that you have to dance. You can talk to strangers. You can you can explain different situations. You can express your political opinion, right? You can take time to observe nature. There are so many things that you can do, right? You can go for a bike ride and so many things, right? Because eventually you have to be a people leader. You cannot do everything on your own. You need to hire a team. You need to uh, solve problems with the help of your team, because the bigger the problem is, it will be tougher for you to solve it, right? And that is where I feel that actuaries of today are very, very one dimensional. They do not have the ability to do something else. They move away from one exam, maybe for just 2 weeks, and then they start about another exam. Recently, IAI has not published the result, and people are struggling to understand what they should do, right? But that's a very simple thing. If you are if you are waiting for your result, you can do some soft skills, right? You can pick up a practical paper and do it, like CP2 or CP3. These days, there is no restrictions. In our time, there was a restriction, like you have to clear the 9 papers, and then only you can appear for CP3 or something like that. In your case, there is no such restriction, right? You can pick up a soft skill, like we have an Excel course. If your Excel is weak, check out that course, and you can do that. We have IFRS 17 course, right? Yeah, you can do that. So you have to understand that you have to utilize your time, right? And you can also go for a trip, right? You talk to people. That is how you build relationship. You understand different perspective. You will never be, if you understand different perspective, you will understand how silly it is to say that you are always right. You have to accept that you are wrong, right? So that is how you can become intelligent, right? And when you become intelligent, you understand that is only the starting point, right? That is there is that there is no end to it. You have to continuously learn, continuously improve, and there is no end to it. So although this slide represents the end, it means the end of this presentation. But being intelligent means that quest to always go for always go for improvement, always learn new stuff, right? Not to be always right, but to find out when you are wrong and how can you improve upon yourself to be right, right? And then again move towards a different goal once you surpass a challenge, right? So that is how it is. That is how you can be intelligent. That is how you can lead the herd, and that is how you can be a blue dragon actually. See you in future videos.